Hello, welcome to another video. Today, as you can tell from the title and the thumbnail and all of that shebang, I am bringing you my Newts Magical Readathon 2019 TBR. I am slightly repping Gryffindor colours today because despite not being a Harry Potter person, I am a Gryffindor, so slightly repping that, but like, you know, whatever. But yeah, it is time for the Newts 2019. Obviously I did the Owls back in April, and Newts take place in August, so my entire August TBR is my Newts TBR, and that is what I'm bringing you right now. If you've got no idea what I'm talking about, which, like, the chances are slim that you've got no idea what I'm talking about, but the Magical Readathon is a Harry Potter themed readathon created by G at Book Roast. It has the Owls in April and the Newts in August, which are the Wizarding World exam sessions, I believe. So she has created the career booklet where you can pick a career and then sit your owls that would be necessary for that magical career and the follow-on Newts. So I will obviously leave the link to her channel where you can find every single piece of information you need, because it is a very deep readathon. Like, there's a lot involved, and G is astonishing for creating this whole thing. So I will now continue as if we all know what page we're on. For the Owls, I sat all of them in the end, all 12, but the career I was going for was Cursebreaker, which I have here, so I sat not only my necessary owls but all 12, so I could potentially change my career to whatever I wanted at this point, but I'm sticking with Cursebreaker because that's what I want. So if I zoom in just here, it has the necessary Newts, so I need to achieve an O in Ancient Runes, an O in Arithmancy, an E in Defense Against the Dark Arts, and an A in Charms. We then have the letter from Hogwarts with all of the exam classes and what we need to do for an A, an E, and an O. So the A is acceptable, E is exceeded expectations, and O is outstanding. And you have to read those in order, like you can't skip to the O without doing the A and the E. So for the ones that I need an O in, I will have to read all 3 books for that, but I'm sure we all understand how that works at this point. So, I will take you through the 6, 7, 8, 9 books that I need to get through my Newts. So let's just do that. Let's start with Ancient Runes. So, for Ancient Runes, in order to get my A, my acceptable level, I don't know what this says, was, in brackets, partnership, read recommended by a friend. So a book that was recommended by a friend. I'm assuming that Ewa's thing is relevant to the Harry Potter world somehow. Don't ask me, I'm not a Potter person. But yes, a read recommended by a friend, and for that I'm going with Malamander by Thomas Taylor. This was not only recommended by Gavin, but sent to me by Gavin as well, so thank you, Gavin, you absolute star. But this is a middle grade that is set in a hotel, and the Malamander is like this mysterious creature type thing, and like weird things are happening here. Mermonkeys, monsters and magic, oh my, a brilliantly plotted mystery swirling with secrets and myths. So lots of strange creatures, and the Malamander is like the big enigma here. So yeah, looking forward to this, a mysterious middle grade. I'm really enjoying reading middle grade at the moment, so you will see a few on this TBR, because it's just what I'm feeling right now, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I love a good middle grade, and I'm going to kick it off with Malamander. I need to get that sticker off, really, don't I? E for Ancient Runes is to read a book written in past tense. I was a little bit confused by this, because in my experience, a lot of books are written in past tense, in that this character did this, they said this, blah blah blah, like a lot of books are written in past tense, but I'm pretty sure that's what she means. So I'm going to be reading A Pinch of Magic by Michelle Harrison. This was actually also recommended by Gavin when I was asking for middle grade recommendations. He said this was one of his favourites, so looking forward to reading this. And also I have a slight feeling that it might be slightly Russian, maybe? Potentially. But it's blurbed by 3 of my favourite middle grade authors. So we've got Abby Elphinstone blurbing it here, Sophie Anderson blurbing it here and Alex Bell blurbing it here. So we've got the author of Sky Song, the Polar Bear Explorers Club, and The House with Chicken Legs. So if it's blurbed by 3 of my favourite middle grade authors, I have pretty high hopes for it. From what I can tell, it's a book about these 3 sisters who are like cursed or something to do with magic. 3 sisters trapped by an ancient curse, 3 magical objects with the power to change their fate. Will they be enough to break the curse, or will they lead the sisters even deeper into danger? That's what that one's about. But yeah, very excited to read that, and that is for my E in Ancient Runes. And then the O for Ancient Runes is to read a book that has been on your TBR for ages. And for that, I'm finally going to read Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Me and Becca from Becca and the Books are doing like a Grisha-verse buddy read, and we've read all of the Grisha trilogy now, so Shadow and Bone, Ruin, Siege and Storm, and Ruin and Rising, which means Six of Crows will be our August read because we're doing one a month, and this fits perfectly because this book has been on my shelf for a really long time, so I'm happy to be, 1, knocking it off because it's been there for so long, but 2, just reading it in general because everyone raves about this duology and says that it's so much better than the Grisha trilogy. And I surprisingly didn't hate the Grisha trilogy, so looking forward to diving into this and seeing what's up. So all of those 3 will get me my outstanding in Ancient Runes. We then move on to Arithmancy, which again I need an O for, so I've got 3 books for this. And the first one is a book that ends on an even page number. And for that I'm going to be reading Lumberjanes Volume 11. Again, this was sent to me by Gavin. Gavin has a big influence on my reading, apparently. But Lumberjanes, this one, according to Goodreads, has 112 pages, which is an even number, so we're going with that. I am keeping up with this series. I've said before it's very up and down for me. Some issues are really good, some not so much, but I'm invested in the girl's story and how it's going along. I feel like at certain times with this they are just kind of riding on the you're already invested so the plot doesn't really matter at this point train, but sometimes it's a good plot, and it's always funny and light-hearted and just non-committal bit of fun, and in a readathon that's always welcomed, and it will be a quick read, so I'm into this. And I'm really intrigued by the cover on this, like with the giant bubbles. What's that about? So that was for my A. For my E, I need to read a standalone. You'd think that's quite broad. Apparently not on my bookshelves, but I did buy another middle grade very recently, so recently that I still have the receipt in there. We'll just get rid of that. But this is Bright Storm by Vashti Hardy, and this is about a brother and sister who have been told that their father has died in a tragic accident or something. Devastated by the news that their father, a daring explorer, has died in a failed attempt to reach South Polaris. But a mysterious clue leads the twins to question the story they've been told. To find the truth, they must undertake the journey of a lifetime. So it sounds like they've been told that their dad's dead, but he potentially might not be, and they need to like go and rescue him or something. And the cover gets me. It reminds me of Explorers on Witch Mountain, which is another middle grade that I need to get to. But it sounds interesting and I'm all down for a daring adventure with these kids. So there's another middle grade to read. And it is a standalone according to Goodreads. And then for my O in Arithmancy, I need to read a book that's longer than 350 pages. And for that, I will be reading Nevermore, The Trials of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. This particular edition is 371 pages right there. So fits perfectly. It's over 350 pages, but not too much over. Like, I'm not gonna set myself out for a horrible experience, but it fits that. And it's another middle grade, and it's a middle grade that I've been dying to get to because everyone absolutely adores it, so I'm excited to hopefully adore it as well. From what I know, this is about Morrigan Crow, who is a cursed child and doomed to die on her 11th birthday. Everything in life that goes wrong is her fault. Even if she had nothing to do with it, everyone blames everything on her because she is cursed. And on the eve of her 11th birthday, I believe a mysterious person comes to like take her away to the world of Nevermore, where she has to undergo some trials to determine whether she can stay or not. I think that's what happens in this, but I will read it for my Newts and find out if I'm wrong. But I'm excited about this simply because so many people love it. It is one of my 5-star predictions as well, so I reckon I'm gonna love it. I love middle grade, and there are a lot of people about that don't love middle grade quite so much that I know loved this, so it's just all signs are pointing to green for me. I think this is gonna be a good one. So if all goes to plan, these 3 books will get me my outstanding in Arithmancy. Now for charms, I only need an acceptable, so I only need to read 1 book, and that is to read a book that you think has a gorgeous cover. So fortunately this is very subjective and I could pretty much pick what I wanted, but I am going with Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. This is the Read Rate Review pick for the next couple of months, and the live stream will be early September sometime, so I definitely need to read this in August. Fortunately, it's beautiful and fits that prompt absolutely perfectly. This is the Fairy Loot edition with the beautiful foresty green sparkly edges. I think it's stunning, and from what I can remember, this book is about a girl who works in one of these like libraries, like magical library, and the books are evil or something. Something to do with that, I'm not sure, but I've just seen on the back here that it's blurbed by Catherine Arden, which I wouldn't have expected, because this is a young adult book and Catherine Arden writes adult fiction. The Bear and the Nightingale, the Winter Night trilogy, is one of my absolute faves. So her blurbing this also speaks volumes to me. If you love the Hogwarts library, you'll be right at home at Summershool. Tightly paced, hugely atmospheric with a touch of wry humour. This book had me from its gothic beginning right to the perfect end. Okay, I'm not into the Hogwarts library thing, but the rest of that sounds really good to me, and I'm well into this. And I think it's like a hate to love situation as well. I think she has to partner up with this sorcerer that she thought was evil or something. Yes, Nathaniel. All sorcerers are evil, and she has to team up with Nathaniel to get herself out of an awkward situation. I'm doing a really poor job at explaining this. An act of sabotage releases the library's most dangerous grimoire. Elizabeth's desperate intervention implicates her in the crime, and she's torn from her home to face justice in the capital. With no one to turn to but her sworn enemy, the sorcerer Nathaniel Thorne, and his mysterious demonic servant, she finds herself entangled in a centuries-old conspiracy. Not only could the great libraries go up in flame, but the world along with them. So yes, evil book, conspiracy, hate to love, sitch. There. I'm into it, I'm looking forward to it. I liked Margaret Rogerson's other book, An Enchantment of Ravens, so I'm looking forward to see where this one goes. But yeah, that will be my A in charms. And then for Defense Against the Dark Arts, I need to get an Exceeded Expectations, so I only need to read 2 for that, and the first one for my acceptable is a book that is black under the dust jacket, which means I had to pick a hardback, which inevitably meant it had to be quite a chunky book, because I don't have any slim hardbacks, but I'm gonna read Witch Sign by Den Patrick. I have been meaning to read this for so long, and this is about a culture that used to worship dragons. It's been 75 years since the dragon's rule of fire and magic was ended. Out of the ashes, the Solminder Empire was born. I don't know too much more than that, and I kind of want to go into this blind just because I've wanted to read it blind for so long, and I'm just so intrigued by the title, the cover, the fact that they used to worship dragons. It all sounds very interesting to me, and of course it is black under the dust jacket, so fits that perfectly, and is actually another really beautiful book, so that will get me my A in Defense Against the Dark Arts. And then for E, Gilderoy's Memory Charm, grab a pen, the first book you remembered just now from your TBR. When I was setting my TBR, the first book that popped to mind, because honestly it's the book that's been on my mind forever, is Queenslayer by Sebastian de Castell, because it's all I've wanted to read since I've owned it, and I have not got round to doing it. So literally whenever anyone says think of a book, I'm thinking of this book, always. Again, I've spoken about this so many times, but it is about a world of magic and Kellen, who I can't tell you what this one's about because it just spoils everything else. But you've heard me talk about this series before, I'm almost certain. And actually I can't remember what it's called, the Confundus charm or something that she's doing, where we get to read the book from the forbidden section of the library, is actually Spellslinger, which is the first book in this series, which you can read for any prompt and it fits. It confuses the examiner or something into thinking that you've fulfilled the prompt when you haven't, you've read that instead. Obviously I've already read that and I'm reading the series. I don't want to reread the whole series right now because I really want to read this one. And I've been reading them as they go, which has been fine. So yeah, hopefully everyone will be reading something in this series. But I'm really looking forward to this. This is the 5th book and the last one comes out later this year, so very exciting. But yeah, those two will get me my E in Defense Against the Dark Arts. Typically that one is going to be the chunkiest because they're the chunkiest books I've got. But yeah. So that is the 9 books I need to read to get me through my Newts 2019 in order to qualify as a Cursebreaker. I am fairly confident that I can get this done. If I manage to read all 12 for the Owls, I think I can read 9 for the Newts. And if I do finish all 9 and want to read some more, I'll see what else I can do for some extra credit, but we won't put too much pressure on that. I'm not going to set a TBR for that because I'm not insane. That is that. If you are participating, I wish you all the best of luck. I hope you all qualify for the careers you wanted and we all have a fun time along the way. So yeah, that's it from me. If you have enjoyed, give us a thumbs up, chat to me down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!